Hey, my friend, welcome. Come in, take a breath, soften your shoulders for a moment. I hope truly that you're finding little pockets of peace today, even if the world around you feels loud, demanding, or overwhelming. Even if your mind has been racing, even if your heart has been carrying more than you say out loud. Today I want to talk about something almost all of us feel, but almost none of us name out loud. That quiet, constant urge to succeed, that invisible pressure to be more, do more, achieve more, as if the moment we stop, we'll somehow fall behind in life. You feel it too, right? Think about it for a moment. You open Instagram, someone your age is buying a house. Scroll again, someone else is traveling the world. Another person is launching a business, getting engaged, living their best life. And without you even noticing, your body reacts before your mind catches up. A tiny pinch behind the ribs, a little squeeze in the chest, that familiar whisper slipping in. Am I behind? Am I missing something? Does everyone else know the secret except me? And my friend, let me tell you something softly and truthfully. You're not alone in this. Not even a little bit. Even psychology confirms what you're feeling. Our brains are literally wired for comparison, a survival mechanism from the days when belonging to the tribe meant staying alive. So that anxious little jolt you feel, that heaviness in your chest, that sudden wave of self-doubt, is not because you're weak. It's not because you're failing. It's not because you're doing life wrong. It's simply your nervous system trying to make sense of a world that asks you to run and run and run without stopping. There is nothing wrong with you. There is something wrong with the pressure. And today, together, we are going to take some of that pressure off your heart, gently, tenderly, one breath at a time. Let's go a little deeper. There is a well-known Harvard study that talks about something called status anxiety, a very human, very old part of our psychology that almost everyone carries, even if they don't realize it. And I want to explain it in a way that feels clear and real. A status anxiety is that quiet, aching fear that says we are not doing enough, we are not achieving fast enough, we are somehow falling behind the people around us, or that our worth depends on how we compare to others. It's the subtle hum that says everyone else seems to be moving, why am I not? But here's what I want you to hear clearly. This fear isn't shallow. It's not vanity. It's not ego. It's biology. Thousands of years ago, your place in the tribe literally determined whether you survived. If you were valued, useful, respected, you were safe. If you lost your place, if you fell behind, if your status dropped, you didn't just feel bad. You faced isolation, danger, or starvation. So your nervous system evolved to constantly ask, where do I stand? Am I still accepted? Do I still belong? This wiring didn't disappear just because we now live in cities instead of tribes. It lives in your body right now. And that's why when you see someone your age buying a house or traveling the world or getting engaged or announcing a promotion, your body reacts before your mind even has time to think. It's so subtle. A little tightening in your chest, a drop in your stomach, a flicker of self-doubt, a quiet panic whispering I'm behind. Not because you're jealous, but because your nervous system thinks your place in the tribe is at risk. Your body isn't reacting to their life. It's reacting to an old survival alarm that once kept humans alive. If they're rising, does that mean I'm at risk of falling? This survival alarm is not true, not anymore, not in the world that you live in now. But your biology doesn't know that yet. And that's why your heart hurts. That's why comparison stings. That's why success can feel like a competition even when you don't want it to be. It's not your fault, it's your wiring. And once you understand that, once you see that your body is reacting from an old fear, not present truth, everything inside you softens. This is where healing begins. This is where compassion for yourself returns. This is where the pressure starts to loosen its grip. Just imagine this. You're sitting alone on your couch scrolling. You're relaxed, maybe even in a pretty good mood. Nothing heavy on your mind, nothing bothering you. And then, within seconds, you see someone celebrating a promotion, someone traveling to Bali, getting a new car, someone announcing their engagement or buying a house. All these tiny snapshots of other people's wins stacked back to back in a matter of moments. Now, pause and notice what happens in your body. You didn't decide to feel insecure. You didn't consciously think, oh, they're ahead and I'm behind. But something inside you shifts instantly, automatically, almost slightly. Your chest feels different, your breath changes, and energy drops a few inches. That shift, that invisible internal collapse, is a status anxiety. It's the moment when your nervous system confuses someone else's joy with a threat to your own safety. Your ancient survival brain makes Instagram for a tribal ranking system. Your sense of worth becomes tangled in comparison, competition, and fear. It's not that you want their life, it's not that you're jealous, it's not that you're ungrateful, it's that your body is asking from a place older than memory. Am I still enough? Is my place secure? Am I safe if others are rising? Do I still matter? Because even though logically nothing has changed, emotionally your biology reacts as if you are in a tribe checking your rank. And here's the truth you need to hear softly. You're not jealous. You're not a small. You're not too sensitive. You're a human being with ancient wiring trying to function in a world that your biology wasn't designed for. Humans used to compare themselves to maybe 20 people, the size of a small village. Now you compare yourself to thousands within minutes. Of course, your nervous system is tired. Of course, your heart gets heavy. Of course, you suddenly feel behind. Your system is overwhelmed by a level of comparison that is fundamentally unnatural. And my friend, those questions, am I enough? Am I behind? Am I losing? They don't come from your soul. Your soul has never once questioned your worth. Only your conditioning has. You're not failing. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're simply having a very human nervous system response to a very unnatural amount of comparison. And once you understand that, once you realize your body is reacting from fear, not truth, you begin to reclaim your power from it. You begin to breathe again. You begin to see clearly what has always been true. There was never anything wrong with you. And honestly, most of this pressure we carry isn't even ours. We didn't choose it. We didn't consciously agree to it. We inherited it from society, from school, from parents who lived in survival mode, from a world that worships productivity and measures human worth by output, not by presence. We grew up absorbing unspoken rules like success makes you valuable, success makes you lovable, success keeps you safe. These beliefs sink into us quietly through the things we are praised for, the things we are scolded for, the things people around us model without even meaning to. And here's the tender truth: our parents weren't trying to pressure us, they were trying to protect us. They carried their own fears, their own wounds, their own stories from times where achievement wasn't about ego, it was about survival. If they pushed us, it wasn't because they didn't love us, it was because they didn't want us to face what they faced. But here's the thing, love: survival rules aren't soul rules, and we are not living in their world anymore. In Sufism, they say the child is born whole, the world teaches it to fracture. It means you weren't born feeling behind. You weren't born questioning your worth. You weren't born believing you needed to earn love or prove yourself constantly or keep striving to be enough. You learned those things in little ways, in quiet ways, in unintentional ways. And the beautiful, freeing truth: anything learned can be unlearned. You can lay down the expectations that were never yours. You can loosen the pressure that didn't belong to you. You can unlearn the belief that your worth is conditional. You can return to the version of you who existed before the world told you who you had to be. And that return, that reclaiming is not only possible, it's sacred. This constant pressure doesn't just live in your mind, it settles quietly, deeply into your body. It shows up in places you don't always notice: the tight jaw, the shallow breathing, the knot in your stomach, the overthinking that shows up the moment you try to sleep, the inability to truly rest, the guilt that creeps the second you slow down. These are not personality flaws. They are not signs of weakness. They are not you being too sensitive or dramatic. These are the symptoms of a nervous system stuck in fight or flight. Dr. Stephen Porges calls this hypervigilance, a state where your body is constantly preparing for a threat that doesn't actually exist. And this is why you might be sitting with friends but feel strangely disconnected, or watching a movie but thinking about work, or standing in a beautiful moment and feeling unable to enjoy it. Pressure steals presence. It hijacks your ability to be here in your life, in your body, in your joy. Buddhist teachings say that suffering comes from attachment to outcomes, and when your worth is tied to achievement, inner peace becomes impossible. You're always chasing, always reaching, always afraid that stopping means losing your value. Here's the painful truth about success, my friend: most of the success we're chasing isn't even ours. It's borrowed, it's copied, it's inherited, it's conditioned. We take on dreams that were never ours to begin with. We chase goals we didn't consciously choose. We run towards versions of life that don't even match our soul. And this is something so many people don't realize until later in life. There comes a moment, quiet, sobering, honest, when you finally ask yourself, whose life am I actually living? Whose dream am I chasing? Who told me this is what success should look like? Sometimes the answers are painful, not because you failed, but because you've spent years climbing a mountain that was never meant for you. We spent years, sometimes decades, trying to make others proud, trying to be something, trying to fulfill roles we never questioned, until one day something inside us whispers, I've built a life that looks right on the outside, but it feels wrong on the inside. And that whisper is sacred. It's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. It's your soul trying to get your attention. It's a quiet ache, a subtle misalignment, a sense that you're successful on paper but disconnected in your heart. Not because your achievements are meaningless, but because they were never meant to define you. That's what happens when we choose borrowed dreams. You can do everything right. You can work hard. You can achieve. You can earn the admiration of others and still feel empty, still feel restless, still feel like something essential is missing. Because success without authenticity is a form of self abandonment. Sometimes we spent years climbing the ladder only to realize it was leaning on the wrong wall. Sometimes we reach the top and realize it wasn't our mountain. And sometimes the bravest thing you will ever do is admit that the life you built no longer fits the person you've become. And that moment, that deep, honest recognition, is not a failure, it's an awakening. You are allowed to choose again. You're allowed to return to yourself. You're allowed to build a life that feels true, not just impressive. And you deserve that kind of life, a life that fits your soul, not your conditioning. Let me put this in the softest, clearest way I possibly can, because this truth is gentle, but it changes everything. No, you do not need society's version of success to be happy. You do not need to reach a certain income. You do not need to hit some milestone. You do not need to match anyone else's timeline. You do not need the world's applause. None of those things are prerequisites for fulfillment, for joy, for peace. What we truly need, what every soul on this planet longs for, is so much simpler and so much deeper. Meaning, connection, inner peace, authenticity, the things that make life feel like life, the things that make you feel alive in your own skin. There is a famous 85-year Harvard study, one of the longest studies on human happiness ever conducted. And you know what it found? Not money, not status, not achievements, not success, but meaningful relationships, the presence of love, of safety, of support, of belonging. That's what keeps people healthy. That's what makes life feel worth living. That's what carries the human spirit through both the beautiful and the brutal seasons. Success can give you comfort, but connection gives you life. External achievements can decorate your world, but alignment nourishes your soul. Being honest with yourself, that's what gives you strength. Feeling at home inside yourself, that's what gives you peace. And that inner groundedness creates a kind of happiness that no job title, no house, no follower count could ever replace. The truth is, you don't need to become someone impressive to live a joyful, meaningful life. You just need to become someone true, the version of you that exists when you stop performing and start listening, the version of you that feels right, not the one that looks right. So, how do we find peace in a world that constantly pulls us into comparison, pressure, and urgency? How do we anchor ourselves when the world is moving so fast? Let me offer a few gentle evidence-based practices, small shifts that slowly guide you back to yourself and help your nervous system feel safe again. Because when your body feels safe, your soul can finally breathe. 1. slow down enough to hear your own voice. You know how sometimes life gets so loud that you can't even tell what you want anymore? The world's noise, everyone's expectations, the endless to do lists, the rushing, the pressure, it all piles up until your own desires become a whisper buried under speed. That's when slowing down stops being a luxury and becomes medicine. So pause with me for a moment, just soften, turn down the noise, turn inward, because your inner guidance, that quiet, honest, brilliant part of you, can't be heard when you're moving too fast. It doesn't shout, it doesn't push, it whispers. And to hear a whisper, you have to slow down. A small practice to reconnect with yourself. Every 1 to 2 hours, pause for just 10 seconds. Inhale gently, exhale slowly. Place a hand on your chest and ask yourself, not with judgment, not with urgency, but with softness. Hey, what do I actually want? What do I need right now? Not what looks impressive, not what makes others proud, not what fits the mold, not what would make your life look good from the outside. Ask what feels right on the inside. Ask what makes your chest expand, what makes your nervous system exhale, what makes your heart whisper, yes, more of this. You'll be surprised, my friend, by how quickly your inner voice speaks when you finally give it a space. Sometimes the answers are tiny, sometimes they're simple, sometimes they seem too small, but they're not. Maybe it's, I want more quiet mornings, I want less pressure, I want to create without fear, I want to rest without guilt, I want to feel like myself again. These small truths matter. They're not random, they're not insignificant. They're breadcrumbs from your soul, tiny signals showing you the direction of your real life. If you want to go even deeper, ask yourself, is this desire coming from my soul or from pressure? Your body knows the difference. Your chest knows. Your breath knows. Your nervous system knows. Your soul's desires feel like openness, warmth, relief. Pressure-driven desires feel tight, urgent, heavy, and you, yes, you already know which is which. Trust that inner voice, that quiet one, the wise one, the one that has been whispering to you for years. It has never been wrong. It has only been waiting for you to slow down so you could hear it again. 2. Redefine success for yourself. You know what's wild? Most people go their entire lives without ever stopping to ask themselves, what does success even mean to me? We just quietly absorb the definition the world hands us. Titles, achievements, money, timelines, and then we sprint toward it, exhausted, anxious, disconnected, wondering why we never feel there. But what if your real success is something quieter, softer, more honest? What if success isn't the life that looks good from the outside, but the life that feels good from the inside? Maybe for you, success isn't a trophy or a promotion. Maybe it's not a milestone you can post online. Maybe success is a feeling, a steady hum in your chest that whispers, I like who I am. I like my life. I like my rhythm. Maybe success for you is waking up with peace instead of panic, having friendships where you can be fully yourself, resting without guilt, creating without pressure, loving your life quietly, sincerely, without needing applause. Maybe success is a gentle nervous system. Maybe it's a slow morning with sunlight on your face. Maybe it's feeling safe in your own body. Maybe it's a life that doesn't look extraordinary to others, but feels deeply aligned to you. Maybe real success is simply liking the person you're becoming when nobody is watching. We're taught to chase the loud kind of success, the kind with certificates, titles, accomplishments. But maybe your soul came here for something softer, something more human, something that doesn't scream but exhales. And sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is admit, honestly, tenderly, without shame, that your dreams are not the same as everyone else's. And that's not failure, that's not weakness, that's not giving up, that's your returning to yourself. That's you choosing a life that matches your nervous system, your truth, your heart, your peace. And my friend, that kind of honesty, that kind of alignment, that is success of the rarest, most beautiful kind. Your real dreams are allowed to be simple. Your real joy is allowed to be ordinary. Your real purpose is allowed to be different from the world's expectations. I want you to try something with me, something simple but surprisingly powerful. Let's call it the success rewiring ritual. And yes, I'm calling it a ritual, not an exercise, because this isn't homework. This is a moment of honesty with yourself, a moment where you get to step out of the noise and actually listen to your soul. Grab a piece of paper, nothing fancy, just something you can write freely on. Draw a line down the middle, creating two columns. Column A, success I was told to want. In this column, write down everything you have been told counts as success, everything society praised, everything your parents hoped for, everything school rewarded, everything the world glorifies. Be honest, even if it feels silly or shallow or not you. Maybe it looks like a stable career, certain degrees, a perfect body, being productive all the time, marrying by a certain age, owning a house, being impressive in some way, constantly achieving something new. Let the truth spill out. Let the conditioning have a voice so you can finally see it clearly. Column B, success my soul actually wants. Now take a breath, a long, slow, soft one. Feel your shoulders drop. Here, in the second column, write down what actually nourishes you, not what you were told you should want, not what impresses people, not looks good online, what you want. Maybe it's the slow mornings, peace in your nervous system, honest friendships, meaningful work, not necessarily fancy work, creativity without pressure, time for rest, feeling safe in your own body, living softly, a life that feels real, not performative. Let your soul speak, let your body speak, let your truth surface. Write without judging what comes through. Now pause and look at both columns. Breathe. Notice the difference. Most people feel something shift right here. A soft sadness, a kind of relief, maybe even a little grief. because for the first time, you might actually see, oh, I've been chasing things I don't even deeply want. And my friend, that realization is not failure, it's freedom. Then place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Ask yourself, which list makes my body feel tight? Where do you feel it? Chest, throat, stomach, jaw. Tightness equals pressure, conditioning, fear, expectation. Then ask, which list makes my body soften? Does anything expand? Warmth in your chest, deeper breath, shoulders dropping, a sense of yes, this feels like me. Softness equals truth. Softness equals alignment. Softness equals your soul saying, this is my path. Your body doesn't lie. It's a compass, a wise ancient one. It knows what belongs to you and what was handed to you. When you look at these two columns and really feel them, you start to understand why you've been tired, why you felt behind, why you've been overwhelmed. You've been carrying dreams that aren't yours, but you don't have to keep carrying them. You're allowed to choose again. You're allowed to rewrite your definition of success softly, honestly, courageously. And that, my friend, that's the beginning of true freedom. 3. Practice being, not always becoming. Take a breath with me for a moment, a real, soft one. Because here's something I want you to feel, not just hear. Your worth is not something you earn, it's something you remember. You don't need to constantly improve. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to wake up every day and prove that you're enough. Your worth is not a reward you receive for being productive. It's your birthright. It's woven into your existence. Nothing you achieve will make you more worthy. Nothing you fail at will make you less. You know how sometimes you sit with someone you love, someone you feel safe with, and you don't have to talk or entertain or be interesting or be impressive. You just exist together, and it's more than enough. Try giving that same energy to yourself. You deserve to be someone you don't have to perform for. Here's a 5-minute practice of just being. Once a day, just once, give yourself 5 minutes with no phone, no noise, no pressure to improve, no productivity, no expectations. Just 5 minutes of sitting, breathing, letting your shoulders drop, letting your mind settle, letting the moment hold you. That's it. Sit there like you would sit beside someone you love, soft, unguarded, without needing to be anything more. Because here's the truth psychologists know, this kind of stillness teaches your nervous system that it's safe to stop performing, safe to stop striving, safe to simply exist. And when your body learns stillness, your mind slowly learns peace. Honestly, it changes everything. Every time, truly every time you catch yourself thinking, I should be doing more, pause, soften, and gently replace it with, I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to just be. It might feel strange at first. It might feel uncomfortable because your brain is used to running, pushing, striving. But listen, your brain learns through repetition. Your nervous system learns through consistency. Your soul wakes up through gentleness. So repeat it, whisper it, breathe it, teach your body the truth. You're allowed to be a human being, not a constant project. 4. Protect your energy from comparison. Listen, this part really matters, maybe more than we realize. Your digital world becomes your emotional world. The things you see, the people you follow, the energy you consume through a screen, it all shapes your nervous system in ways you feel physically, not just mentally. If someone's posts constantly make you feel less than, you're allowed to mute them. This isn't being dramatic, it's being protective. If scrolling makes your chest tighten, you're allowed to put your phone down. Your body is communicating. Listen. If certain content drains you, you're allowed to walk away from it. No guilt, no explanation needed. Your nervous system was never designed to compare itself to thousands of people a day. Truly, humans evolved in small circles, 20, maybe 50 people. Now you compare yourself to entire planets within minutes. Of course, your heart gets heavy. Of course, your mind gets overwhelmed. Of course, your body feels unsafe. Think about it. You would never let someone into your home who constantly makes you feel like you're not enough, right? You would never sit across from someone every morning, chips away at your self esteem. So, why let that energy into your mind through a screen? You deserve protection. You deserve boundaries. You deserve a digital space that honors your mental and emotional health. Setting digital boundaries. These aren't rules, they are forms of care, small, gentle shifts that help you stay connected to yourself. Try one of these. Set a 15-minute limit on social media apps. A tiny limit can bring massive clarity. Keep your phone out of arm's reach in the morning. How you start your morning teaches your nervous system what to expect for the day. Create a safe feed. Mute accounts that trigger anxiety, pressure, or comparison. Even if you love the person, your nervous system comes first always. Replace your morning scroll with a mindful ritual. Try warm tea, lukewarm lemonade with honey, stretching, journaling, soft breathing, sitting in silence for a minute, sunlight on your face. These ritual moments offer your body grounding before the world's noise enters. And psychologists will tell you these tiny digital boundaries dramatically reduce anxiety, depression, and overwhelm. Here's a grounding practice for comparison. Whenever you feel that comparison spiral pulling you in, your chest tightening, your breath shortening, your mind spinning, pause. Take a slow, deep breath, soft shoulders, soft jaw, soft heart, and whisper to yourself, "It's not my timeline. My timeline is uniquely mine. I trust the process." Let the words settle into your body. Let them land. Let them remind you that you're allowed to move at a different pace, follow a different path, bloom in a different season. Because you deserve a digital space and a life that supports your nervous system, not one that overwhelms it. You're not behind. You're simply on your path. And my friend, that is enough. 5. Let spirituality guide you back to yourself. You know, my friends, sometimes the mind gets so loud and the world gets so demanding that the only place left to find yourself again is in something deeper, something old, quiet, and true. That's where spirituality steps in, not religion, not doctrine, but the soft remembering of who you really are beneath the noise. Rumi said, "You're not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." And if you sit with that for a moment, it will rearrange something inside you. Because what he's really saying is, you're already whole, already significant, already complete, already enough. Even in your confusion, even in your slow seasons, even on the days you feel messy, lost, or painfully human. You don't become worthy by achieving. You don't become whole by hustling. You don't become enough by performing. You already are. You always were. You always will be. Spirituality is the gentle remembering of that truth. Identity rerouting practice. This one is so simple, yet so deeply healing. Whenever anxiety shows up, whenever your mind starts spiraling into not enough, place a hand on your heart, feel the warmth of your touch, feel your own presence, and say, I'm not my achievements, I am not my productivity, I am enough exactly as I am. Say it slowly, say it like you're speaking to yourself, to your younger self. Say it until your body softens. This interrupts shame patterns and reroutes you in your inherent worth, the growth that was yours from the beginning. Your nervous system needs to hear these words. Your soul already knows them. Let's talk about a few healing habits for your spirit. These aren't rules, they are reminders, little ways to return to yourself in a world that pulls you away. Stop shrinking. Notice the moments you make yourself small to fit in, to avoid judgment, to stay acceptable. Your soul wasn't meant to be minimized. Stop rushing. The soul moves slowly. Let your body follow. Your timeline is sacred, not a mistake. Stop apologizing for existing. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to have needs. You're allowed to be seen. You do not have to be convenient to be worthy. Start trusting your inner rhythm. Your path is not meant to look like anyone else's. Your pace is not supposed to match the world's pace. Your soul has its own timing and it's perfect. And when you remember you are the ocean, vast, deep, powerful, ancient, sacred, you stop competing with drops. You stop racing a race that was never yours. You stop measuring your worth with someone else's metrics. You stop betraying your own rhythm. And in that remembering, peace returns. Your breath deepens. Your softness comes back. And you come home to yourself again and again. Before you go, I want you to really hear this, not just with your mind, but with your heart, your breath, your entire being. You're not behind, you're not late, and you're not missing anything. You're unfolding slowly, softly, in your own sacred timing. You are ripening in ways that the world can't always see yet, but your soul knows. You're becoming, not by force, not by pressure, but by living, learning, and returning to yourself over and over again. Your rhythm is sacred, your pace is divine, your path is yours alone, and you are exactly where you're meant to be for who you are becoming. Gently place a hand on your heart for a moment. Feel your warmth, feel your presence, feel the miracle that you are, and whisper softly to yourself, I am enough, even here. Because you truly are, in this moment, in this season, in this chapter, in this breath. You are enough in your becoming and enough in your resting, enough in your questions and enough in your clarity, enough when you rise and enough when all you can do is breathe. You don't have to rush to be worthy. You don't have to catch up to be lovable. You don't have to prove anything to be whole. You already are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to listen. Thank you for choosing yourself, even a little bit, even quietly, even imperfectly. I'm proud of you, truly. Until next time, go gently, go softly, go in your own sacred rhythm. You're doing beautifully.